had no cards. And I'm trying to hold them and count them and figure out what I got for who.
And if you're wondering what that story was, my brother's telling me that we don't have enough flowers. Yeah, it's going to have to do, isn't it? All right, well, here we are. We are at Campground Cemetery, a few miles north of Tunnelton, West Virginia. We've got a lot of relatives buried in this cemetery, and we got one flower. So here's I hobble along. Here are my great-grandparents.
And they get the flower.
They get the flower. And let's see if I can pull this joke on my brother again. Look, a pentagram. Our great-grandmother was a Satanist. Do you remember that joke? No, that's the Order of the Eastern Star. As you can see, our great-grandfather was a Mason, and his wife belonged to the Order of the Eastern Star, so it's one step away from being a Satanist in my book, but...
Okay.
Okay.
The one that should have the lamb on it.
Yes, this is the one that, if you were watching all my previous videos yesterday, I was talking about one that had a lamb on it that had been chipped off. This is it. And it's so worn. Well, wait.
I have it written
I
down.
can't read the name, but I see the date was 1918 when they died. So that had to be Sarah. So that was the girl that was 8 years old. And this one, Velma Louise. She was the first child of our great-grandparents. She died when she was 6 months old, but she was born like 1891 or something like that.
I have this written down at home. Back when I was using a camera to take pictures of this.
Mm-hmm. Here's another one. See, this is all
an actual camera, not a phone.
Yeah, this is all of our great-grandparents' children that predeceased our great-grandparents. This is our great-uncle Leonard, who died in 1923 at the age of 23. He was on a train, and he was going from one car to the next, and he fell down between them and got crushed. Not a nice way to go.
But he was working. He wasn't.
Yeah, he was working. He wasn't a passenger. He was working on the train. And here is my father's cousin, Paul. And, well, this is the footstone of my great-uncle Justice. And let's see who all's over here. Okay, get where you can see this. Yeah, great-uncle Justice, his wife Wilma. Over here is Justice's son Paul, and a place for Paul's wife Mary, but she's still living, and their daughter Roberta, who died 2 years ago. And over here are our Kale relatives. And once again, I didn't sit down and figure out who they all were, but I think our ancestor, Kale ancestor, who was a veteran of the War of 1812, is buried over here, I think. And I think this is his tombstone right here, but it's pretty illegible at this point. So there we go. I think that's a veteran of the War of 1812. He walked all the way from Preston County, West Virginia to Lake Erie, and he built ships on the shores of Lake Erie. Okay. I'm going to go over here. I see a car parked there, but I don't see anybody in the cemetery. I don't know what's going on. Over here, in case you didn't watch my video from last year, I got more relatives over here. This is kind of a family thing. This is my great-great-grandfather, Ben Miller, who died in 1890. Born in 1818, died in 1890. Oh, I think he's my great-great-grandfather. Or is he my great-grandfather? No, it had to be my great-grandfather because my grandmother wasn't born yet, so I don't think she was going to be born 8 years after he died. That'd be quite a posthumous child there, wouldn't it? Do you know what a posthumous child is? That's somebody who's born after their father dies, which means they couldn't be born more than 9 months after the father died. That'd make it kind of impossible. But as I was saying to the camera there, a posthumous child who was born 8 years after the father died, that'd be quite a feat. That would be quite a feat. And over here, the fourth family name, Hartmans. Who is this? Albert and Rose. Albert was my grandmother's brother. And I know there's more Hartmans over here in this section. Here's a McGinnis. That was my grandmother's nephew. So a fifth name, but I'm only related to the McGinnises by marriage. Oh, this is barely legible. Ada McGinnis, my grandmother's sister. Okay, well, that's Campground. That's Campground Church over there. Get some idea of how big this cemetery is. Fairly big, but not huge. All right, well, I guess I've run out of things to say for now. Shut it off till the next one.